There has been a new promotion at Lucasfilm, or that's at least what the company's leadership wants us to think. Dave Filoni was recently promoted from Executive Creative Director to Chief Creative Officer. If you think that these two titles sound the same with slightly different wording, you aren't alone. But what does this so-called promotion mean regarding his role at Lucasfilm? From Filoni's own words describing his duties as CCO, it sounds like his new position is almost exactly like the old one, which indicates to me that this may be nothing more than a publicity stunt to divert criticism of the poorly run Lucasfilm from Kathleen Kennedy to Filoni. In this video, I'd like to examine Filoni's job before and after this new promotion, and what his comments reveal about what we can expect from Star Wars content in the future. Dave Filoni, previously known for his work in animation with the Clone Wars and Rebels series, has worked for Disney Lucasfilm as Executive Creative Director since the summer of 2020. However, I found it interesting that his past promotion wasn't announced publicly, and this change went unnoticed until the studio updated their website a year later, upon which the public was made aware. Variety reported on this change in May 2021, saying, Filoni's title as Executive Creative Director captures the complicated role of overseeing both individual series and a larger storyline that weaves together several shows. This now years-old appointment of Filoni as the Executive Creative Director was apparently intended to facilitate the production of what has since been deemed the Mandoverse, a strategy of interconnected content that closely resembles that of the now floundering MCU, tying together all the shows helmed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, leading up to an Avengers-style Star Wars movie. To predict the direction of Star Wars under Filoni's leadership as the Chief Creative Officer, analyzing the creative choices made during his tenure as Lucasfilm's Executive Creative Director in the development of the Mandoverse can provide significant insights into future expectations. Many have found reason to criticize Filoni's creative involvement with the Mandoverse, starting with the Book of Boba Fett. This series, eagerly awaited by fans, was seen as a misrepresentation of the legendary bounty hunter. Contrary to his previously established fearsome image, Boba Fett was depicted as weak and overly dependent on others, often reduced to a secondary role in his own series. This lack of fidelity to George Lucas's original vision for the character was evident when Temuera Morrison, who played Jango and Boba Fett, expressed disappointment over Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, overshadowing him in the series. He also regretted not being able to portray Boba Fett in the traditional, cold, and cunning manner that fans had grown up adoring. Morrison had hoped for a return to Boba Fett's intimidating persona, potentially in The Mandalorian Season 3, but that opportunity did not arise. Ironically, in the third season of The Mandalorian, it was Din Djarin's turn to experience a similar fate, being relegated to a supporting role in his own series. The choice to dedicate 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett entirely to The Mandalorian, overturning the Season 2 finale to reunite Din and Grogu, seemed more like a marketing tactic than a coherent storytelling decision. Placing such a significant twist in The Mandalorian and Grogu's story in a different series altogether highlights a concerning lack of direction in managing the shared universe. Ideally, fans should not have to watch the Book of Boba Fett to follow the complete narrative of The Mandalorian. Yet during Filoni's time as Executive Creative Director, that has become the case. Additionally, Ahsoka's involvement in the Book of Boba Fett appeared unnecessary and, for many, only added to the confusion. Her later choice in her own series to not inform Luke Skywalker about the galactic-level threat posed by Grand Admiral Thrawn was even more perplexing, given her previous appearance alongside the Jedi Master. The third season of The Mandalorian marked another noticeable drop in storytelling quality. It became apparent to many viewers that Filoni and company had shifted the primary focus from Din Djarin to address the earlier plot development involving the Darksaber. This change effectively transformed the series into a story centered around another one of Filoni's previously animated characters, Bo-Katan Kryze. Thus, The Mandalorian Season 3 pivoted to focus on her journey to rightfully claim the Darksaber and unify the Mandalorians. Many were quick to attribute these issues in the Mandoverse projects to studio interference. However, as of yet, there have been no confirmed or substantiated reports to support this claim. Nevertheless, it's evident that even if Filoni had raised concerns about the disappointing directions of the early Mandoverse projects, his position as executive creative director clearly did not grant him enough authority to implement the necessary changes. That being said, Filoni clearly has a strong suit when it comes to creating animated Star Wars media. However, live-action productions require a completely different skill set and is a medium where audiences expect more originality, depth, and complexity of storytelling, as opposed to Filoni's current approach to live-action, which I feel has been most accurately likened to simply smashing action figures together. The recent Ahsoka series, which was created solely by Dave Filoni, made it even more obvious that he simply isn't qualified to write and direct a live-action Star Wars show, let alone oversee a shared live-action universe. But here we are, with Dave Filoni in his new position as Chief Creative Officer. What does this mean exactly when it comes to future Star Wars projects? Besides what I'm sure will be many more seasons of Ahsoka, I predict almost nothing will change. In an exclusive interview with Vanity Fair, it was revealed that as CCO, he'll apparently be much more involved in early development now, working alongside President Kathleen Kennedy and Head of Development Carrie Beck. Filoni commented on this change to his involvement, saying, quote, "In the past, in a lot of projects, I would be brought into it. I would see it after it had already developed a good ways. In this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on. When we're planning the future of what we're doing now, I'm involved at the inception phase." With this promotion, he'll be involved in the initial stages of project development, but what does that really entail? As Chief Creative Officer, one would assume he has the authority to decide which projects and storylines get the go-ahead for development and to veto those that don't align with the spirit and lore of the Star Wars mythology. However, as Filoni himself revealed, this isn't actually the case. He went on to say, quote, "I'm not telling people what to do, but I do feel I'm trying to help them tell the best story that they want to tell. I need to be a help across the galaxy here, like a part of a Jedi Council almost." So by taking him at his word, it's clear that as Chief Creative Officer, Dave Filoni's role will essentially be limited to being informed earlier about what other writers or creators plan to do with the Star Wars IP, and being available as a consultant rather than having direct influence over their decisions. He also went on to elaborate, saying, "To truly help filmmakers, it was really important for me to experience it firsthand. I can also lend a perspective on the challenges that telling these stories will present. I feel more capable of actually being helpful outside of just saying, well, Jedi are like this and the Sith are like this." This reflects Filoni's belief that being more familiar with the filming challenges of storytelling in the Star Wars universe will make him better at assisting others in crafting their narratives. Although he may not have the qualifications to advise those for whom this format is a career focus, his role, as outlined in his job description, should involve sharing his extensive knowledge of the lore and using his creative authority to ensure adherence to the mythology established by George Lucas. Regrettably, he has explicitly stated that he does not intend to dictate the creative process, but rather to support creators in telling the stories they envision. Consequently, I'm left wondering about the significance of Filoni being informed early about various Star Wars projects if he is either unable or unwilling to exercise his authority as Chief Creative Officer. It seems his intent is merely to provide filming advice to other writers and creators working on Star Wars. However, many fans feel that an ideal creative executive would be assertive in guiding writers and directors firmly on what is permissible within the established lore. Fans who are enthusiastic about Filoni's involvement are primarily excited because they expect him to make substantial contributions to crafting a well-thought-out structure for the next additions to the Star Wars mythology. In my opinion, Filoni is certainly not an ideal choice for maintaining Star Wars lore. He has in the past expressed his belief that continuity and consistency in lore are secondary, likening the stories told within the Star Wars universe to tall tales, campfire legends that change with each retelling. He perceives inconsistencies as beneficial, encouraging fans to explore different Star Wars media for varied perspectives. However, the allure of exploring different facets of the Star Wars universe should stem from their compelling contribution to the lore. A fresh perspective is valuable, but it loses all significance if it undermines the consistency of the story. I believe that Star Wars at its best is not just a series of campfire tales. Rather, it is a rich, complex mythology carefully shaped and nurtured by George Lucas over many years, earning its status as one of the most cherished and influential fictional franchises of the modern era. The importance of lore and the maintenance of continuity are what make the mythology of any intellectual property unique and captivating. For many lifelong fans such as myself, Star Wars was particularly beloved because of its detailed lore. Sadly, Filoni's prior comments regarding the importance of consistency in storytelling reflects a growing reluctance in Hollywood to adhere to canon, which is often perceived as a limitation. Yet respecting the lore should be seen as a remarkable chance to meaningfully contribute to a universe that is dearly loved by countless fans. While it certainly demands more time and effort, upholding the integrity of the Star Wars universe is not just a responsibility, it's an opportunity to provide a timeless expansion and enrichment of a beloved narrative landscape. With all of this being considered, I'm saddened to say that there's little reason for optimism regarding Filoni's potential to significantly enhance the storytelling quality in future Star Wars projects. From my perspective, especially considering the content of his Ahsoka series, Filoni has not demonstrated himself to be a reliable guardian of Star Wars lore. Moreover, even if he were committed to this role, his past performance as a creative executive and his comments regarding his new role do not indicate a dedication to a consistent and faithful vision for Star Wars, and it seems unlikely that anything will change at Lucasfilm going forward. But I'm curious to know what you think about the news of Dave Filoni's promotion to Chief Creative Officer. Do you feel that this move will significantly change the future of Disney Star Wars content? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.